Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going over all the head coaching hirings this NFL offseason so far. This on another episode of. So first, let's go over the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, for their new head coach, have hired Jesse Minter. Minter was the Chargers DC, and I think it's a good hire. The Ravens have their offense sort of set for the time being. The defensive coach would honestly be pretty good for that roster, especially since they don't have to worry about developing a quarterback with Lamar Jackson. Minter was decently good out in LA for the Chargers. No real complaints there. But honestly, if he can improve the defense from last year, he's worthwhile hiring. Next, we got the Atlanta Falcons, who hired Kevin Stefanski, the former head coach of the Browns, as their new head coach. Stefanski, he was a guy who ditched Baker for Deshaun Watson, and I'm not really sure what to think of him. I know a lot of people like him. He's a good coach. He is. He's a two-time coach of the year. He does great things with the roster, but I think some of his decision-making when it comes to being biased towards certain players leaves a little to be desired. Yes, I'm sure some people will say it wasn't his fault for Baker and Deshaun and all that, but I feel like no GM would have ditched Baker without the coach saying, yeah, get rid of him. And we see how that turned out. Overall, not a terrible hire, but I feel like there's some questions and concerns there that Atlanta might have to deal with. Next, we got the Tennessee Titans hiring Robert Saleh. The 49ers DC is their new head coach. Saleh, he's defensive-minded. He was the Jets head coach. He went back to the 49ers to be a DC. He's now the head coach of a Titans team that has very little talent. But on the plus side, he can do whatever he wants with that team, and it wouldn't be that hard because it's building up from nothing. Honestly, a good hire. Next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders, and Clint Kubiak is their new head coach. Kubiak? He was the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. Specifically, he was their coordinator a year where they had a great offense. So, honestly, if he goes into Vegas and does for them what he did for Seattle, it's a great hire. Now, the one concern is that Raiders roster is bad, terrible. Who knows if he can do anything with it? Next, we got the Bills hiring Joe Brady, their own OC, as their new head coach, which I kind of don't like. You fire Sean McDermott for pretty bogus reasons. Then you trash talk a bunch of people. Then you take a guy who worked for Sean McDermott and make him your new head coach. If you were so upset with the coaching staff that you fired the head coach, why did you promote someone from within his staff and not go find someone outside the organization? Who knows, but that's the Bills. So I don't really like it, but it's a thing. Next, we got the New York Giants hiring John Harbaugh. Coach pick of the offseason. Great job, Giants. Maybe you'll actually have a winning record this year. Harbaugh, great head coach with the Ravens for a long time. Honestly, that Giants roster is perfect to shove him into because the Giants roster is already very good. So, good job, Giants. Next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers and hiring Mike McCarthy. The Steelers hired Mike McCarthy for reasons. I think they just missed Mike Tomlin already and decided to get his offensive-minded twin. Because Mike McCarthy is that. He's a coach that can get you to a nice around 500 record, except his specialty is offense instead of defense. Great job in not seriously improving, Steelers. Next, we got the Cleveland Browns and Todd Monken, who was the Ravens OC. That is an interesting hire. I'm not sure what the Browns are thinking. The Ravens offense wasn't especially good last year. And they hired him? I mean, that team has a lot of problems. I'm not sure this is the right guy. I thought maybe they'd bring in someone who could develop a quarterback, maybe someone more established as a head coach, try to right the ship. But no, they went for this guy. Nothing against him. I just think the situation's terrible. Disaster is likely ahead. Next, we got the Miami Dolphins hiring Jeff Hafley of the Green Bay Packers. He was the Packers defensive coordinator before getting the job. And, I mean, that Packers defense was good, but it wasn't great. Sure, he might do good, but this is another situation of a good, potentially good coaching hire to a team that is terrible. And finally, Mike LaFleur to the Arizona Cardinals. Mike LaFleur, Rams OC. I'm going to miss you, man. You're going to a team that is extremely flawed on offense and on defense. Honestly, it's a team that should have been looking for someone like Mike McCarthy, someone who is established. Bringing in a young talent like Mike LaFleur here doesn't really feel all that right. This is a team that deeply needs stability, and hiring an OC that's never been head coach before doesn't scream stability. With that being said, guys, please like, share, subscribe down below, comment what you think, and I'll see you next time.